So, what's up everyone? Semir here and welcome back to the channel. In the world of tech, there are these ideas that just seem to stick around forever. They get passed down from person to person, from your parents to your friends, and eventually they just become accepted as fact. But here's the thing. A lot of what we think we know about our gadgets is, well, just not true. We've all heard them, things like you have to let your battery die completely before charging it, or that a certain brand is just immune to problems. It's easy to see how these things start. But today, we're going to put some of the biggest ones under the microscope. We're going on a myth-busting journey. I picked out 5 of the most common, most persistent tech myths that I still hear all the time, even in 2024. We're going to break down why they're wrong, what the actual truth is, and hopefully help you understand your tech a little bit better. It's always fun to peel back the layers and see what's really going on behind the scenes with the devices we use every single day. Some of these might actually surprise you, and some you might have already figured out. So as we go through these, I want you to think about which ones you've heard before or maybe even still believe. Let me know down in the comments which myth you've been guilty of believing. No judgment here. We've all been there. It'll be interesting to see which ones are the most widespread. All right, let's get into it. All right, first up, let's talk about smartphone cameras. This is a big one. For years, the marketing machine has drilled into our heads that more megapixels equals a better camera. You see a phone with a 108 megapixel camera or even a 200 megapixel camera. The immediate assumption is it must take incredible photos, way better than a phone with just 12 megapixels. But the truth is, megapixel count is only a tiny part of the whole picture. It's really not the spec you should be focusing on. Think of it like this. Megapixels are just the number of dots that make up an image. More dots can mean a larger, more detailed picture you can crop into without losing quality, that's true. But what really determines the quality of those dots? It comes down to more important factors like the size of the camera sensor. A larger sensor can capture more light. More light is the key to a better photo. It leads to less noise, better performance in dark environments, better dynamic range. So a 12 megapixel camera with a huge sensor will almost always outperform a 108 megapixel camera with a tiny sensor. And it doesn't stop with the sensor. The quality of the lens, the glass the light passes through, is critically important. A high-quality lens produces a sharper, clearer image before it even hits the sensor. On top of all that, the image signal processor and computational photography software, the brains of the operation. This software does HDR, portrait mode, night mode. That's why Google's Pixel phones, along with 12 megapixel sensors, were often ranked among the best cameras. So next time you're shopping, look past the megapixels and consider the whole package. Okay, this next one is a classic. I'm sure someone in your life has told you this. Don't charge your phone overnight. You'll overcharge it and destroy the battery. This myth comes from an older era of battery technology, specifically nickel-cadmium batteries. They suffered from something called the memory effect. You had to fully discharge them before charging them back up. But lithium-ion batteries are different. Smartphones, tablets, laptops. They're significantly smarter than their predecessors. Your smartphone is essentially a mini computer. It has sophisticated circuitry built in to manage the battery and charging. When you plug your phone in overnight, it charges up to 100%, then it just stops. The power management system knows the battery is full and cuts off current from the charger. It's not continuously forcing electricity into a full battery all night. The phone then powers itself directly from the charger, bypassing the battery. Most modern phones, like iPhones and many Android devices, have features like optimized battery charging. The feature learns your routine. It charges to about 80% and holds there for most of the night. Just before you wake up, it finishes to 100%. Keeping a lithium-ion battery at 100% for long periods adds tiny stress. So the phone minimizes time at full charge to prolong battery lifespan. So go ahead, plug it in and get some sleep. Your phone knows what it's doing. This is one of those brand loyalty things that turned into a full-blown myth. Macs don't get viruses. For decades, this was a key selling point for Apple, and to be fair, there was some truth to it. Historically, Windows had a much larger market share, so it was a more attractive target for people writing malicious software. If you're a hacker trying to cause the most chaos or steal the most data, you're going to go after the platform with the most users. It's just a numbers game. So for a long time, Macs flew under the radar, but here's the reality check for 2024. That era is over. While it's still true that Windows PCs see a higher volume of malware, Macs are absolutely not immune. As Apple's market share has grown, so has its appeal as a target. We've seen a significant increase in malware, adware, ransomware. Apple has great built-in security features like Gatekeeper, X-Protect, which do a good job of preventing you from installing unverified software. But they are not foolproof. Determined attackers can and do find ways around them. Ultimately, the biggest vulnerability on any computer, whether it's a Mac or a PC, isn't the software, it's the user. The most common way malware gets onto a system is through phishing scams, malicious email attachments, or downloading software from shady websites. No operating system can completely protect you from clicking a bad link or entering your password where you shouldn't. So, regardless of what kind of computer you use, practicing safe browsing habits is essential. Be skeptical of unsolicited emails. Only download apps from trusted sources like the App Store and think before you click. Your brain is the best antivirus software you have. We've all done it. You need to look up a gift for someone you share a computer with, or maybe you're just curious about something a little embarrassing. So you open a new browser window and click New Incognito window, New Private window. It feels like you've put on an invisibility cloak for the internet. The dark theme and the little spy icon suggest total anonymity. But private browsing is misleading. Here's what it actually does. It tells your local browser not to save browsing history. It doesn't save cookies. It doesn't keep form entries after the session. Close the window, the session disappears from that device. Your weird cat search won't show up in local history. Websites you logged into will be logged out. It's only local on-device privacy, a temporary memory wipe for your browser. What it does not do, your internet service provider can still see every site you visit. On work or school networks, admins can see your activity. Websites themselves can still see you. They know your IP address. They can track your activity on their site. If you log into Google or Facebook, they know who you are. Incognito isn't a shield. It's like erasing footprints inside your house while everyone outside can still see you walking around. And finally, let's talk about those little bars in the corner of your phone's screen. 5 bars. Full signal. You must have the best, fastest connection possible, right? And when it drops to 1 bar, everything should be slow and calls should drop. It seems logical, but those bars are probably one of the most misunderstood indicators on our phones. The number of bars you see only represents one thing: the strength of the signal your phone is receiving from the nearest cell tower. It's a measure of raw signal strength, usually in decibels, milliwatts, or dBm. But here's the catch. Signal strength is not the same thing as signal quality. Network speed. You can have a very strong signal, 5 full bars, from a cell tower. But if that tower is congested with thousands of other people using it at the same time, like at a concert or a sports game, your data speeds can slow to a crawl. It's like being on a highway with a really strong, clear radio signal, but you're stuck in a massive traffic jam. The signal is great, but you're not going anywhere fast. Conversely, you might only have 1 bar, 2 bars, but if you're connected to a modern, uncongested 5G tower, your data speeds could be incredibly fast and your call quality could be crystal clear. The quality of the network technology like 4G, LTE, 5G, and the current load on the network are far more important factors for your actual experience than just the raw signal strength. Many phones actually let you see the real signal strength in dBm in their settings, which is a much more accurate number than the simplified and frankly often arbitrary 5-bar system, so don't judge your connection by its bars. So there you have it, 5 common tech myths officially debunked. From the megapixel race to the truth about incognito mode, technology is often more nuanced than the marketing or the old wives' tales would have us believe. Hopefully this cleared a few things up for you and will help you make more informed decisions about the tech you use every single day. Understanding what's actually happening under the hood not only makes you a smarter consumer, but also helps you get the most out of your devices. It's pretty cool when you peel back the curtain. I really appreciate you sticking around and watching the whole video. It's always fun to dive deep into these topics. Now I'm curious, what other tech myths have you heard? Maybe something your parents still insist on, or a pro tip you heard from a friend that sounds a little suspicious. Drop them in the comments below. I read as many as I can, And it would be awesome to see what other myths are out there floating around. Maybe we can even do a part 2 with some of your suggestions. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and learned something new, giving it a thumbs up really helps out the channel. And if you want to see more deep dives and breakdowns of the tech that shapes our world, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.